Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions for the next round of the Podium 1 GT3 Fixed Series supported by RAFA Racing Club. We are here at Sonoma Raceway for what should be a very chaotic round of this series, an incredibly compact track, one that follows the terrain like nothing else on the iRacing service, and plenty of interesting opportunities for mistakes, for overtakes, for crashes, etc. Get settled in. It's going to be a wonderful night of racing here. And bringing it to you live is myself, Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon, alongside me in the comms box and also producing behind the scenes. Zippy, I'm looking forward to Sonoma. I look forward to every round of this series because the racing is so good and the action comes thick and fast, but I think we're going to get it in a concentrated form today.
Yeah, Sonoma is definitely one of them circuits that's got a bit more of a challenge, especially having such a radical elevation change. Myself, I've never had any luck at Sonoma. It is not on the Princess-approved track list, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we need to make this a thing in the iRacing community. This needs to be like a hashtag or something like that. Some newfangled media, social media thing. Reese is looking at me like, you old fart, and that's fine. He's older than me. I'm pretty sure you're older than me, but Reese, how old are you?
I'm turning 31 in a couple of months. I'm 4 years younger than you.
Yeah, damn it. All right. He just looks older than me, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to keep it that way. But Sonoma, honestly, one of those tracks I've never really got on with. But you know what? The biggest thing that made it a difference for me was actually watching Suelio Almeida race it back in his Radical against an absolute onslaught of competitions. That's where the memories are going to be for me, ladies and gentlemen. But let's see what the Podium 1 GT3 Fixed Series can do to enhance that. Speaking of which, Reese, let's take a quick look here at the schedule.
Absolutely. Well, we're here at Sonoma for round 4. We've already been to Road America, Laguna Seca, and Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. We go to Road Atlanta for the next round, and that's definitely on the Princess-approved track list to end off the first half of the season. We go to Daytona for round 6, then Virginia International Raceway for round 7, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal for round 8, and then rounding off the season at Indianapolis and Sebring on the 1st of December. Lovely variety of North American tracks that we go to for this one, and this one is going to be I think one of the most difficult to make those passes on. This place has been around since the 1960s, and it's kept pretty much the same layout through most of it, but you obviously have to take into account various small reprofiles of the corners along the way. Well, coming into this particular round, we have points to think about as well, Zippy. This is going to be an incredibly interesting championship fight. We've had a few different winners over the course of this season so far, but Joshua Wilford has been one of the more consistent ones. Hunter McCall has been getting consistent podiums in his Ferrari in the gold class. Crone, Freeston, and Oxborough are your top 5 for that one, and Jacob Freeman only 3 points behind Oxborough, so there's going to be quite a few sub-battles there in the top 5 in gold.
As we take a look here at silver, ladies and gentlemen, looks like Charles Ayres there. He's had an absolutely cracking couple of races recently, but despite that, only 4 points ahead of Piers Fox. Reed Lincoln very close behind in 3rd as well. Then there's a little bit of a gap, ladies and gentlemen. Brent Souza is there with Kevin Rosario closely behind, just 5 points in it, closing out your top 5 as Reese takes a look at bronze.
Matt Jones only 1 point behind 5th place there as well. Yes, in bronze, Jack Minter was the runaway leader, but he had a couple of problems at the previous round of the championship, and so the gap has narrowed to Tommy Polte, who is only 2 points behind him for the bronze championship lead. Our league administrator, CJ Conklin, sits in 3rd there, with Philip Crane and Andrew Garov rounding out our top 5 in bronze. Perhaps the closest championship fight of them all. Proportionally, I would say the Gold Championship fight is just as intense, with 5 points in between our top 2 in the top class. But man, this has set the stage for what should be a very interesting night of racing. You know, close championship points and very close competition as well, combined with such a tight track. It's going to be a recipe for high-octane action.
Yeah, definitely think having a multiple Multiple GT3s here is going to be an interesting race indeed. The track is not necessarily one of the widest, and the grid size, we've got 41 cars queued up tonight, ladies and gentlemen, across 3 different classes. That is going to be an absolute onslaught of racing. It's going to be a great evening. Look at that. That is exactly the elevation change I'm talking about. Turn 1, ladies and gentlemen. We will get an onboard lap potentially with Mr. Reese Gardner a little bit later there, as Coca-Cola appears to be getting in their sponsorship with some beautiful umbrellas over the bar area.
Yes, indeed. Sonoma Raceway, one of the tracks that's been rescanned and retextured as part of iRacing's NASCAR refresh program, and it is looking beautiful at the moment. All modernized, all up to date, and looking forward to exploring it ever further as qualifying is about to end properly. There's only a few seconds remaining. The checkered flag has already officially flown in the session, just waiting on those final 2 cars to either complete their times or escape back to the pits in the final 20 seconds. But I think with that, before we get into warm-up and potentially do an onboard lap, probably a good idea to thank the sponsors of this brilliant series. Many great supporters of the Podium 1 Fixed GT3 Championship here, starting, of course, with VPG Sim. They don't just build equipment, they translate years of motorsport expertise from BF1 systems directly into your hands. Their products are engineered using knowledge driven by professional drivers, the ones who push the limits. It's about that weight, that feedback, that raw, uncompromising connection to the machine. It's from track to sim. We're bringing the authentic race feel home. Crafted in Wisconsin, Carbliss offers a line of premium canned cocktails designed for drinkers who refuse to compromise on flavor or fitness goals. These ready-to-drink options featuring vodka, rum, and tequila bases for classic drinks like margaritas and mojitos are built on a simple promise: bold flavor with zero compromises. Every 12-ounce can is 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, and just 100 calories. Firmus Serpollet, owned by league racer Simon Cartier and his brothers Martin and Serge, made a strategic shift to exclusively breeding purebred Holstein cattle. This decision was aimed at improving the genetics of their then 60-head Serpollet herd. The strategy has proven highly successful and continues to yield excellent results for their young herd today. And last but not least, Podium 1 Racing is a Nashville, Tennessee-based builder of turnkey racing and flight simulator systems. They offer premium, ready-to-use rigs that integrate high-end components such as Fanatec, Azatek, and Cubic motion systems to meet the needs of serious racers and professional training environments. A big thanks to all of the supporters of this incredible GT3 series that has brought us great entertainment over the last few months. We are into the 4th round of this new season of the championship, and a couple of drivers out there trying to put some times on the board in warm-up. I'm hoping that once one of them starts a hot lap, they commit to it so we can really explore Sonoma Raceway as it currently is in iRacing, Zippy. I know it may be not on your approved track list, but you can't deny it looks gorgeous.
It does indeed, Reese. It looks like we managed to catch on board with Ben Mellick here, albeit slightly late in the lap.
I think he might have just come out of the pits, actually, so we'll see him slowly build up the speed through the chicane of turns 2 and 3, and then a very short blast down to this hairpin. This is at a bit of a reduced rate as to what he'll do it in the race, but good to see that he's taken a slow tour of it. Track flattens out there, and you can keep it just flat out through the right-hander to this downhill left-hander that more than doubles back on itself. It's such a challenging corner, the most difficult on the track for my money. You got a late apex, so be very careful how you get on the throttle because you will understeer off if you get on it too early. Then hard braking into the hairpin. It's a double apex, double right angle right hand, and now it used to be a full hairpin back before the track was reprofiled, but you basically still have the same sort of racing line there. Then flat out through the S's, just balancing the power across the hill, and then back on the power once more. Tap of the brakes to tip it into this right-hander, the second last corner of the lap, and the final turn is the hairpin, but it looks like he'll be going for the pits. And I think it's quite important that you practice pit entry at Sonoma. It's one of the more difficult pit entries here on the iRacing service. It'll be interesting to see how much time is gained and lost as drivers have to go through it at least once here in the race.
Well, as you say that, we've been able to pick up with Cairo Ends instead.
So Enns on board here is at a bit more of a high rate of pace here, showing the kind of exit you need from the downhill left. And just ease on to the steering. The apex of the corner is right there in the middle of the tarmac, and it looks like Enns might be having some trouble with the rear end of his car there. Certainly, I certainly feel that. I've had the same kind of issue multiple times when racing at Sonoma. It's a high commitment corner, and there's so much tarmac out there. You have to run wide between the sort of apexes of that turn for the best run, and when you have a car that isn't quite cooperating with you, it becomes very difficult.
Yeah, honestly, I'm starting to wonder if Cairo is a little bit camera shy, perhaps. Certainly, we got one driver who definitely is not. Tommy Polte, bless him, he's had a bit of issues getting the camera sorted out, but fair play, he does keep trying. We do have a few new drivers on the cameras today, but we got to give a shout out to one particular driver who, honestly, I think we're going to have to put a bet on with him to start wearing high heels, because this gentleman, all we can see of him is his feet. You'll find out later who it is.
Indeed, I'm no stranger to foot cams in sim racing broadcasts.
Easy.
There's quite a few drivers in the AusNZ community that will show us the view of their actual inputs, and I always appreciate seeing it. So it's great to see that we've had a couple of drivers go for that in this particular scene as well. Warm-up is over, and it is time for the grid, and what a close grid it was. Hunter McCall has managed to get onto pole position, but only about 1.5 tenths ahead of Dalton Oxborough for the front row. Jacob Freeman and championship leader Joshua Wilford start on the second row, with Miguel Colon and Ben Mielik pole position in silver on row 3. Charles Ayres is very close behind, with Chris Crone joining him on row 4, and John Hamrick and Pierce Fox round out your top 10.
As we have a look there at P11, it's going to be Brian Zinn with Cairo Ends alongside him in P12. As we have a look back, we're going to have Darwin Hansen, one of the keen community organisers here who helps out with this league. He's there in 13th with Michael Clark in 14th. Jamel Gummer is going to be there in 15th with Matt Jones in 16th. Then the first of the bronze, ladies and gentlemen, it's Jack Minter back again in leading that class. He's there in 17th with Reed Lincoln in 18th, Matt Hollinger in 19th, and Amrit Vastrala closing out your top 20.
Bit far down for a gold class car. Cody Haygood starts in 21st place, with Kevin Rosario joining him on row 11. Michael Pacheco and Brent Souza on row number 12. Then we have Quinn Manders in 25th place. Hatcher starts alongside him in 26th. We've got Jason Owens and Philip Crane on row 14. CJ Conklin and Joshua Travis round out your top 30. Then we have Andrew Garov and Drew Martin, 31st and 32nd. Kerry Corcoran and Tyler Gramling a bit lower down than they would ideally like, with Richard Pettit and Sean Phillips rounding out our top 36 cars. Doug Sorrentino starting down in 37th place. Let's see how far he can race forward. Callan Christian, Chris Scheusler, Tommy Polte, Robert Bison and Artis Veldra round out our field here. 42 cars getting ready to take to the start, and I'm very surprised to see that Veldra did not get a time in qualifying. He was competing for the win at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in a very intense fight with the Aston of Joshua Wilford. Ended up running out of fuel right out of the final corner, did Wilford, which allowed Vestrala to skip away and, which allowed Veldra to skip away and take advantage and take victory at the last round. So he's starting this one right from the very back of the grid at a track where passing is possible, and that's about it.
Yeah, certainly, I mean, it looks like there's a lot more space in parts of the track than others, but still, I'd be very careful going a couple wide here. And what I can see, looking at the driver cams right now, There is a lot of seesawing going on. Michael Clark, one of the most enthusiastic himself. Ben Malik, Tommy Polte, all quite enthusiastic there. CJ, however, CJ, Andrew, and yeah, no, just mainly CJ and Andrew looking pretty much just chilled as a cucumber, ladies and gentlemen. They could be making margaritas.
Yes, indeed. Maybe use some carbless in the middle of that cocktail as well. Coming down through the final sequence before we get this race started, you really get a sense for how little space there is to properly run side by side in this section of the circuit. If you try and get the run on someone, you're basically going to be stuck behind them until the final corner. So it is going to be an exercise in patience, this one, especially if you pit early and end up in traffic from the very front of the field. But we'll get ready now for the pace car to make its way into the pit lane. Somewhere the drivers will have to jump into at some point during this event. There is a fuel cap, so you can't make it all the way to the end on the fuel that you've got. You will have to make a little splash in the pits, but ideally don't take tires. That will end up costing you a lot of time here in the pits. This race going for 40 minutes as we get ready here with Hunter McCall bringing his Ferrari home to the green flag, just easing onto the power. And power down, we are away. Dalton Oxborough getting caught out there as we go green across the line, and McCall will lead into the first turn. Freeman and Wilford side by side in the Astons for third place, and Wilford will get the move done, but there's a fight back from Mr. Freeman there. And Jacob is back ahead, ever so briefly, side by side, through these S's on the first lap, going to give a chance to Miguel Colon as Freeman runs off. Wilford tries his best to maintain the place, and spin as Miguel Colon and Joshua Wilford both go around in front of the rest of the field. This is going to make things very difficult here. Pile up imminent, and my lord, everyone struggling there on the first lap. Two big heavy hitters in this field out of contention early on.
Well, if I remember right, oh my gosh, they're 3 wide behind them. That is not going to end well, and that is exactly what's just happened. There's been a Ferrari caught up in that. I believe that's Sean Phillips there. I can remember I was taking a quick look at the rule book just a couple of days ago, and any incidents in the first lap, going off my own very abysmal memory, ladies and gentlemen, do carry severe penalties. This could be very bad news for a few of these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely could. This first lap has been chaotic to say the least, but let's hope that things get a little bit cleaner from this point on. Cairo Enns has been blessed with 5 extra positions out of this one. 4 extra positions as he finds himself in 6th place. This is looking all right for him so far. He just needs to hold on to his car for the full 40-minute distance, and he should be granted with a good position in the end. Let's see how he goes chasing down Ben Milik there. Jamil Gummer, meanwhile, chasing down Michael Clark right in the midst of this very intense fight. It's been a while since I've seen a Lamborghini in this field. Good to see that Michael Clark is repping the ball there, but he's run a little deep out of the S's. That opens up the opportunity for Gummer to shoot up the inside of this hairpin and grab the position, but the outside line seems stronger than I expected.
That was an absolutely fantastic move by the number 36. He just saw an opportunity and absolutely sent it, but running a little bit wide there, perhaps. I don't know. This is definitely not one of my stronger tracks, but very much Michael Clark now. He was being the prey. Now he is indeed going to be the predator.
Righto, Michael Clark looking for the inside as there's a move behind. That's Joshua Wilford trying to regain some spots after his incident with Miguel Colon on lap 1. And making his way back up to 14th. Cologne fared a lot worse. He is currently in the pits. It looks like Jones is in the pit lane as well. Both of them getting their stops done and getting back out there. Michael Clark still looking for the move back on Jamil Gummer here, but it doesn't look like the opportunity is going to present itself. I find more often than not here at Sonoma, once a car gets ahead of you, that's it. It's going to be really difficult to get back past them.
Well, as you say that, Reese, let's take a quick look here and see what happened with Miguel Pilon and indeed Joshua Wilford.
Yeah, looks like Wilford tried getting on the power there on the outside, but his car broke traction, and Cologne, I think, was innocent in all of that. He didn't really do anything wrong. He was just there on the inside, but ended up getting a massive problem there. I wonder if there was contact. I mean, it doesn't look like netcode contact to me. There wasn't a big jerk to Joshua Wilford's car. Miguel Colon, though, trying his best to hold the brakes, I'm sure, ended up rolling to the other side of the track, and that ended up taking out a couple of other cars as a result. Very heavy field at Sonoma, and I guess it makes sense that we'd have something like that happen. As we have a look again here at Chris Crone, looks like he has had his own set of issues there. I wonder if he was caught up with Cologne.
Yeah, I'm just trying to search back and see where he got involved in this incident. Certainly looks like a few cars were definitely part of it. Here we go. Chris Crone went off track just before Miguel Pilon. So, okay, there goes Miguel. And, yep, Chris ended up getting caught up in that as well.
Yeah, the game of ping pong that ended up having an impromptu setup there on turn one, on lap one, sorry. Well, we have 5 minutes of the race complete, and we still have Michael Clark here trying his best to work his way into the top 10, and it looks like he'll do it here versus John Hamrick. And interesting to note, looks like Jamil Gummer has fallen back. I don't see him anywhere in this vicinity. Something's gone wrong for him. John Hamrick will try his best to hold on in his McLaren, as Wilford is now really pressuring the back of Hamrick there, and they're catching up to Clark too. It's Michael Clark isn't too far ahead of this.
Oh, here you go. Here comes Wilford looking to make a move here up on the inside. And it's fair to say Michael Clark, he's about half the I rating. I don't know if he's really going to put too much of a fight up there. Wilford, I don't think, is carrying any damage, but I have indeed found an incident here with Jamil Goa. Let's find out exactly what happened. Oh, as you say that,
that was Hamrick. Hamrick ended up spinning in the McLaren there, but I suppose now is the time to go to that replay you were talking about, Zippy.
There's a few to go at, Reese.
So Jamil Gummer ended up running wide here, and it was actually contact from the Lamborghini that spun him around there. Well, not quite spun around. He did manage to recover it, but still, that is a hefty loss of time from a tiny bit of contact through the most difficult corner on this circuit. And Amrit Vestrala had his own issues there in the Mercedes, evidently. No, it was John Hamrick. Yes, he ended up getting on the power there. And it seems that these cars are having a habit of breaking traction right at corner exit around this circuit.
Yeah, definitely elevation change can make for a very challenging situation here, as Alex Belger is indeed. He's doing all right again. He is back and running, ladies and gentlemen. The former champion here of the Podium 1 Series, don't get me wrong, it was called the Open Championship there, as that is not what he had in mind. The car gets sideways in front of him. Actually, I believe that's now behind him. That's Richard Petit.
Yeah, Richard Petit has had his fair share of problems thus far as well. But crucially, still running in P30. There's been some spacing out going on at the front of the field. McCall and Oxborough have skipped away from everybody, 5 seconds ahead of Ayres and Freeman, who are battling over third overall. And Charles Ayres still running in the silver class and having a grand old time of it here on the overall podium. His closest rival, Ben Mielik, is another 5 seconds behind this fight.
Yeah, it's definitely a good position to be in, but let's go and join the fight that is currently the hottest on the track between Pierce Fox and Brian Zinn. Now, remember, points are done by the overall position of your finishing, so don't get me wrong, Brian Zinn, he's gold, Pierce Fox is silver, but Pierce still has everything to fight for. He's in 7th overall, and he is holding his own against the driver of the 82.
And he will get points for finishing 7th overall. There's no split in points between the classes in this league, so every extra position you can get, it doesn't matter who you're racing against, you will benefit. And the more cars between yourself and your nearest class rival, the better.
Absolutely. You can see here there is a bit of traffic ahead of them as well. And I do believe that maybe Cairo Ends and Ben Mellick as well. So 2 drivers with cameras, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be getting onto this screen battle very shortly.
We'll have a look at that. The Aston Martin of Cairo Ends getting a bit of a narrow entry there as he tries to work his way past Reed Lincoln, who's holding on to 39th position at the moment. He's a lap down, so Cairo is going to have to be smart about this, working his way past. There will be blue flags being shown to Reed Lincoln, but this being sports car racing, the blue flags are advisory only, and so that means that Enns is going to have to try and find his way past safely and cleanly. Pierce Fox is loving this because it's brought him right into the fight here with the Aston Martin, and the other Aston of Brian Zinn is now under pressure from Joshua Wilford as well, who's caught right up to these guys. It's been a good recovery from Wilford.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one hell of a battle race. All they've got to do is make sure they can keep it on the track. Certainly, we've seen the GT3s. It's maybe a little bit too much car here, as Cairo Ends is definitely showing to show a little bit of lack of patience there, and understandably so. He's got Pierce Fox right behind him, almost into the back there. Has that cost him? No, not yet. Pierce Fox has to go back on the brakes as well. We're almost into an accordion of GT3 cars here. Cairo Ends has got to get his way past as he absolutely sends it up on the inside. I got to say, I can't fault him for that. Are we going to see a train of cars coming through now, trying to make their way past lap traffic?
Yeah, it looks like Reed Lincoln has yielded to everybody there. The move from Cairo Ends was enough to send the message that, yeah, these guys are racing hard. And it looks like the same message is sent to Scheusler as well in the pink Porsche, who lifts offline for all of them. And now there is clear track ahead for the next few seconds up to Ben Mellick. Gotta wonder what the difference in lap times is going to be like. The fastest car on track for the moment is Joshua Wilford. 127.95 is his best lap so far, as he has a look up the inside of Brian Zinn. Oh my goodness. Looks like the same issue from lap 1 is still present in the car there. Wilford is struggling to get the power down.
Yeah, I honestly think he got a bit of a sniff, went, no thank you, that's not my flavour, and absolutely got a tank slapper going. And fair to say, it had some effect, ladies and gentlemen, but it looks like we've got more battles happening throughout as well. Michael Clark's going at it here with Matt Hollinger. This is the battle for P4 in silver.
Yes, a very interesting fight here for 12th place and 11th overall. Clark is still, by some miracle, holding on here in the Lamborghini. And Jack Minter is currently our highest placed bronze car. He's going to get an overall top 10 if he keeps this up, but looks like he's run a bit wide at the exit ahead. That's going to bring Clark right into the fight, and a little bit of side-by-side will certainly help out Matt Hollinger. Super deep on the brakes is Jack Minter to try and hold on to something here. Gets on the power nice and hard, and the Porsche holds on for the moment. This is going to be frustrating here for Mr. Clark.
Yeah, certainly, I've seen a couple of these drivers are really flirting with that stand, almost to the point where they may start in Baywatch, ladies and gentlemen. As long as the hop keeps a distance, they should be okay. Certainly, these cars are a lot more potent than Kit, albeit without the same kind of gadgets. But right now, Minter, he's been absolutely dominant in the Bronze Series so far. Can he keep it going? Further up the field, though, Ben Mellick there, he's still got a little bit of a lead over Cairo Ends, but that lead, I believe, is very much closing, down to about 1.5 seconds.
Yes, Enns has tried his best to hold on here in the midst of a very chaotic start to this race and troubles he's been having with the rear end of his car, but full credit to him. He's managed to push through it. Let's see if there's anything else he can do here. Enns and Mellick, well, they basically have the same expression on their faces at the moment. It is full concentration. Sonoma demands it.
Absolutely, Reese, absolutely. And certainly looking at the lap times, it does look like Enns has been catching up overall. If I do a quick bit of zippy math there, he's gained about 6-7 tenths, albeit he gave it back on lap 6. So definitely we'll have to keep an eye on that gap. It's about 1.5 seconds. See what can be done through the course of this race.
Righto. Let's see when the next move presents itself here. You often have to wait at Sonoma for a flurry of moves to be made. It's one of those tracks that's pretty similar to a street circuit in that, you know, walls are close, it's hard to pass, one line fits all through most corners, but the hairpin is one of those overtaking opportunities, and it looks like that's the number 77 that he's working his way past. That's Jones in the Porsche. That's another bit of lap traffic already that they've had to work their way through. We aren't even halfway through this race and lap traffic is already a concern. Amrit Vestrala, meanwhile, is charging up this field. 7 places gained so far, and he's made his way past Jamil Gummer there, who himself has fallen back a little bit. The Mustang is making some great gains on corner exit there, but Amrit Vestrala, regardless, seems to be holding on nicely.
I don't know what it is, Reese, but certainly today maybe I am a bit of a Mustang myself with the I'm sounding like a wounded horse at times with just how close these drivers are getting on such a course with such radical elevation changes and such blind corners. But the battle's happening throughout the field. This is actually the closest one going, if not the one between Jack Minter and Matt Hollinger. That's Porsche versus Porsche, and fair to say that Minter, he's got quite the defensive game on him, but can Hollinger really, you know, can he really find his way past? He's got about a 700-800 IR gap over him, but fair to say Minter's I rating is it's a little bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, that is certainly the case here. Well, Matt Hollinger has made up 7 places on the starters.
Whoa.
Oh my God, that is deep from Joshua Wilford as he works his way past not just Pierce Fox, but also Jones, the lapped car there. That was incredibly deep from Joshua Wilford, but somehow he managed to pull it up. And he'll complete the move into turn 2 there. Pierce Fox all over the curb behind to try and work his way past the lap traffic, but it's not happening. Jones appears to be holding on to some good pace, and oh man, Pierce Fox is going to be very frustrated with that. Lap car parked on the apex, and he has now lost touch completely with Joshua Wilford, who can now focus ahead. There's the move.
Whoa.
My goodness, it was deep. How did Joshua Wilford pull that up? Slight contact with the number 77 there, but I'm honestly surprised that we didn't see a car airborne from this.
I gotta admit, that was a Dan Salmon classic. That must be at least 5 cars back. Don't get me wrong, there was contact, so I can't give him full credit for it, but I gotta say, the cojones on this guy, he's not gonna need a flotation device.
That's crazy. Well, I suppose that in itself is a demonstration of why Joshua Wilford is leading this championship. He can be aggressive when it's called for, and now he'll hope that Ben Milik and Cairo Enns can continue to battle for 5th place and allow him a chance to catch up. Doug Sorrentino, meanwhile, he started way down in the field, but one thing is for sure, when it comes to Doug Sorrentino and you look at positions gained halfway through the race, it's almost always going to be double digits for him. He knows how to race his way forward in that Barbie machine. 22 places gained at the moment, up to 15th. Looking at 14th, Michael Pacheco is the car ahead.
Yeah, certainly Doug Sorrentino, he's kind of our Dylan Newhart of the Podium one-odds, and I say that because Dylan Newhart, he always brings his entertainment in the form of a livery. Doug Sorrentino, he always brings his entertainment, albeit in the form of being the hardest charger, nearly every single race we see him in. And fair to say, power to him. He definitely brings a smile to my face. And I love the fact he drives for the race craft. He's not doing it for the championship points. Don't get me wrong. He's potent. He's quick. But for me, he just does it more about trying to get past everybody. And, you know, what is racing to you? To some people, that is the race. And I get it. And honestly, I think it's pretty cool. I like the fact he has his own agenda.
Yeah, and it's an extra little challenge at a track like Sonoma, where he gets the inside line now on Pacheco and moves through into 14th. That is 23 places gained for Doug Sorrentino now, and we are not even at the halfway point of the race. How much further forward are we going to see that car elevate? Looking outside the top 20, Drew Martin sitting in 23rd place at the moment. Got some debris and gravel up ahead of him. That is a car that is very wide indeed. Is that Enns?
I don't believe so.
No, I don't think it is. I mean, I see the bronze wheels. I see the blue livery. Yeah, ends is in the 332. That is a different car. My apologies, but looks like things are starting to get quite interesting in this area of the field. Darwin Hansen. Oh dear, Tyler Gramling getting onto the IndyCar layout of the circuit ever so briefly, and out in the sticks in the Porsche.
Yeah, honestly, I almost feel like that we literally have a curse cannon tonight as we put the camera on Tyler just purely clicking while trying to scroll there, and yeah, sorry Tyler, you got hit with the commentator's curse on that one, as right now we're seeing Drew Martin putting up a bit of a fight there, and I'd say a bit of a fight. He did have CJ Conklin right behind him, but we do indeed have somebody coming in for scheduled pits, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Cody Haygood.
All right, so Haygood gets the fuel in the BMW there, and a very short pit stop, only 7 seconds by my timing. That is well beyond what anyone else has done so far. Of course, proviso that most of the people who have come into the pits already had to get some damage repaired, which is far from ideal. CJ Conklin then sits in 22nd place. He's got Robert Bison and Callan Christian for company right behind, and we'll see if there's any further move to be made at the hairpin this time. All it takes is a little delay in getting on the power, or maybe just a little breathe of the throttle when you realize you're understeering, and that would mean Robert Bison is right on the back of our league administrator. Certainly is making up a ton of time under brakes.
I gotta say, shout out to CJ as well. He has definitely got all of the sponsors well represented on that paint job, and fair play to him. Robert Bison is going to provide us with an excellent camera shot of that. As you see here, they're getting even closer. Podium on the side of that car. Sounded like he went in a little bit hot there. Had to lift in that Mustang, but is he going to be able to catch back up to CJ? He's about 7/10 of a second back. This is going to be the prime place to do it if he can do that late braking maneuver, as we saw Joshua Wilford do just a few short moments ago.
All right, down to the hairpin then. Yeah, Bison gets a good exit in the short term. Is it enough for a run into turn 1, though? Not quite. It's one of those corners where you really need to be side by side with the car ahead before you attempt to pass. And it's very easy to compromise yourself. Porsche pops in there. That's Jason Hatcher and the Iron Lads team for the moment. And oh man, that curb there at the top of the hill, it's one that, you know, some drivers like to avoid, some drivers like to go all over. I find that if you're not two-wheeling it through there, it's generally not a fast lap, but what do I know? Sonoma is a circuit where pretty much any line can work, and I've just seen a problem for Joshua Wilford and Ben Mielik. They came together on the way into the first corner, and they'll have a little bit of drama to deal with. So will Hatcher here, as he has to deal with multiple cars around him.
Yeah, it looks like we're in the middle of a four-way fight, ladies and gentlemen. CJ Conklin leading this back. Got Robert Bison Jr. in second. Jason Hatcher right behind him, and Darwin Hansen and Callan Christian all fighting for the same position. Tommy Polte just a little bit further back, about 3 seconds back. But we will take a quick look at that incident in a very short minutes there, as it looks like Ben Malik and Wilford have been playing very much with Caro ends as well.
Yeah, they have. These guys have been fighting quite a ways forward here in this race, but this particular incident, Joshua Wilford getting the run, and then Mielik behind thinks that there might be space there, but a bit of a coming together between Wilford and Mielik, and Cairo Ends dashes away despite running super wide through the hairpin there. And I think that's typical Sonoma, honestly. That front stretch of the circuit is quite difficult. It is basically a street circuit in this section of the racetrack. Pierce Fox then has an opportunity to find his way past Mielik, who's dropped off in pace here. It would appear that Wilford has made his way back through on Mielik in the interim, as we are just past the halfway point of the race now, still waiting for the majority of our field to make their pit stops.
Yeah, certainly I feel Pierce Fox has had a really good race so far. He's been fighting hard but has not been able to capitalize on those results. But I do have a feeling that big 4-car pack may have been disrupted for you. So let's take a quick look here at the replay. Yeah,
we'll see exactly what's gone wrong for these guys. Focusing on Robert Bison, who, okay, a little bit too early of a turn in there, and it seems like both cars behind him had the same issue. Bison says, okay, I want to run away now, but does he end up doing so? Does he get on the brakes too late? I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, it seems, well, it's always been a popular place to go off, the exit of that corner, but yeah, everyone seems to be having a bit of trouble getting their line there on the very exit. Darwin Hansen, meanwhile, finds a free position there as someone went wide through the S's.
Yeah, but then he goes, you know what, one was good, but I think I'm going to take one more, as I believe he goes and sneaks another one in at the hairpin.
Oh, very nice. Good move to the inside. Used to be just tyre stacks on the inside of that hairpin, but now there's a concrete wall and a bit more curb to use, so I think you can be a bit more aggressive on your way in there. Well, Pierce Fox now looking to gain a bit further on Ben Milik. Let's see what he can do to find his way through. See Tommy Poulter just coming out of the pits. He should emerge right behind these guys. It looks like a 31.5-second stop for Tommy Poulter, which is much longer than we would expect. So there's been some issues for him somewhere along the line there. Either that or he left tyres checked by accident.
Yeah, definitely easily done, ladies and gentlemen, as he did indeed manage to get his webcam up and running, ladies and gentlemen. Albeit on his phone, he's definitely had some, I believe it's a web browser technical difficulty there. One of the drivers who's had a bit of a hard time. But ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of where at the time I wish that they could hear us live on the broadcast and be like, Tommy, give us the wave.
Yeah, let's see then, finally getting him on the Zoom feed there. But finally, here on the replay for Robert Bison, there is a spin and the car breaks from his grasp. He rolls off the circuit. Fortunately, there was space to allow him to do that. Tommy Poulter will now try to work his way forward. Oh, goodness me. Oh, Matt Hollinger finding the wall with his front bumper and his rear wing, and now that Porsche is looking decidedly not raceable. It's very easy to make a mistake through that section. The curbs can destabilize your car. You need a machine that is incredibly stable. Jamil Gummer now has been battling with Amrit Vestrala ahead for quite some time, and looks like there's still a chance for him to move back past.
Yeah, honestly, these guys have been having an absolutely fantastic race there. You see the Mustang coming out of the pits. That is an absolutely terrifying view. Indeed, I'm hoping these sunglasses, I'm hoping these drivers do have their sunglasses on, even if they're racing at night, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed it is very bright as you make your way up over the hills.
Yeah, plenty of glare here in central/northern California. I guess it's Northern California in a geographical sense. Sonoma Raceway is at the... Oh, goodness. Wow, okay, we've had a few cars with issues here.
That's Wilford.
It looks like, yeah, Wilford has gone around as well, and that's in the middle of the S's. Oh, moving through Conklin and Jones, and once again for Wilford, it's a problem with the rear end. It seems like he wants to be confident on the power. He's asking more from the car than it can give him.
Yeah, definitely easily done. We have seen him get a little bit of a tank slapper going a couple of times, but despite that, he is still managing to hold on to 8th place. Fair play to him. He's really having to work hard there, but I do wonder if he's maybe a little bit too keen today, though, as he does bring it down pit road. A good chance to cool down both the car and the driver.
Yes, reassess, see if there's anything you can do to adjust the car's behavior. It is a fixed setup series, so you're pretty limited on what you can actually change. I think you might be limited to brake bias and driver aid settings on board in the car. But any change will make a difference for Joshua Wilford, I'm sure. Uncharacteristically spinny from him today. Jack Minter, meanwhile, leading the bronze class in 11th place, has a silver and a gold in front of him. He's caught right up to the fight between Amrit Vestrala and Jamil Gummer.
Yeah, certainly these guys have been going hard at it as well, and I have a feeling now, I may be wrong. I was wrong. I'm starting to wonder who that was that was getting involved there with the actually beautifully coloured Mustang, the 37 car, I believe. Let's have a quick look, see if we can work out who that is. That's Jason Owens, ladies and gentlemen. He was very kindly got out of the way here to let these three drivers continue that such fantastic battle here for 9th place overall.
Yeah, this is looking very good here in the late stages of the race. We have our couple of our leaders in, Hunter McCall and Jacob Freeman, both jumping into the pits. Dalton Oxborough and Charles Ayres will stay out for another lap or so. They've waited until the last available opportunity here, and I think the reason is they don't want to be embroiled in traffic, but honestly, all things considered, pretty much everyone's been encountering lap cars all race at this point, so I don't think it makes a difference when you pit. You're going to have some sort of compromise you'll need to make. Verstrala also comes into the lane. It appears that Michael Clark has jumped in there as well.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this may actually pan out quite well for the AMG of Amrit Verstrala. Don't get me wrong, the undercut is usually what I've seen tends to be quite an advantage. We're just going to have to keep an eye on it, but it looks like we've got a new battle emerging, ladies and gentlemen. I say new battle. Pyro ends now. Going to be facing a bit of pressure from Ben Mellick, as indeed Piers Fox still very much riding his bumper.
Yes, this is continuing to be an incredible fight, and we'll see if Piers Fox has anything under brakes here at the hairpin. It's a difficult braking zone to pick. Basically, when those billboards start on the left-hand side is when I usually brake for that corner, but almost never nail the exit. Piers Fox having a little bit of trouble getting the run that he needs, as Kerry Corcoran is the next car to jump into the pit lane, and stop is complete for him. It is a sort of two-tiered pit lane at Sonoma. NASCAR races here, and the fields are usually so big that they have to actually split those pit boxes into two groups. Milik is the next to come in here. Piers Fox is going to stay out and hope for the potential of an overcut. Meanwhile, Jacob Freeman has already been through the pits. He's got Doug Sorrentino right behind him. Sorrentino making it up 27 positions now, and I think that he should be able to still hold on to quite a few of those once he comes into the lane. Freeman just being given enough space to the inside there.
Squeeze!
Or is he? Jeez, big squeeze indeed. But it looks like the Mustang is going to let he and Doug Sorrentino go into turn one, and that's going to move Freeman back up into 7th place. Still waiting on pit stops from Cairo Enns, Piers Fox and Jamil Gummer in the top 10. For the moment, it looks like McCall has managed to keep the lead from Dalton Oxborough, and Charles Ayres remains on the provisional podium, the effective podium. So now the pressure is turning up here for Jacob Freeman.
Well, certainly Freeman is going to need to do a little bit more than fancy footwork if he wants to find his way ahead of Charles Ayres. Certainly, Charles has had absolutely outrageously great defensive driving we've seen so far. Don't get me wrong, he's aggressive, he's keen, but on that maneuver, absolutely nothing there. But Jacob Freeman goes deep, and Charles just goes, I don't think so. Switch back again, and Doug Sorrentino has got the best seat in the house, ladies and gentlemen. These two guys are indeed starting a tango.
This is fantastic racing here between Freeman and Ayres. Fantastic job from the both of them to keep it clean despite the aggression being displayed here. Jacob Freeman is going off the circuit every so often in his pursuit of Charles Ayres, with Sorrentino coming into the pits just behind them. It looks like Piers Fox is in the lane too. That just leaves Cairo Enns as the only car in the top 10 aside from Michael Pacheco to come into the pits. And Enns is looking reasonably comfortable in the Aston for the moment. How far ahead is he? About 3.5 seconds ahead of Hunter McCall. So he will surely lose the lead, but I've got to say he has a fair chance of staying in the top 10.
Well, Jake Enns, you're going to have to forgive me on the comment of, is this going to be the, if the commentator's curse is real, keep the camera off Cairo. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, he is leading the race here, so we're going to give him a little bit of screen time there very quickly, and then politely, we're going to switch off to someone else. Return to the battle here with Freeman and Ayres.
All right. Once again, battle for effective 3rd place. And you see way in the background Ben Mellick and Piers Fox, who are, oh my God, okay, around they go. Charles Ayres spun, and that will be an overall podium for Jacob Freeman. Let's see how this happened. So the move was attempted at this corner a lap ago, and Freeman was able to get alongside. It looks like he was a bit more aggressive on the power and getting to the second apex a bit earlier than Ayres did, which caught out the BMW driver, and the man who still remains the leader in silver, though maybe walking wounded for the moment. Jamil Gummer, meanwhile, on replay, something happened to him. Oh, that's a big move from, I believe that's Michael Clark in the Lamborghini. And that is a tap and spun around for Jamil Gummer. Very unfortunate incident to happen so late on in the running.
Well, it looks like it has been nothing but well, almost like a triple set of incidents here. As let's have a look, see what happened to the McLaren of Michael Pacheco, and just ends up going around on that one. Actually, the most mellow incident of the three.
Yeah, but it's an incident that we've seen a few times before, getting on the power out of the hairpin there. Oh my goodness, it looks like there's been quite a large problem. Owens and Rosario have come together somehow. Kevin Rosario first on the scene here, and hard on the brakes. That looks like it caught out Owens there, and both of them spin around. You see Ayres making his way through, and a couple other cars having to take avoiding action. Kevin Rosario doing a bit of off-roading in his Mustang. That can't be good for the underbody as he gets back going. Oh man. It's been such a difficult race for so many of these drivers. It's an absolute gauntlet, is Sonoma. And Matt Hollinger getting a front row seat to even more of that.
Well, right now, Hollinger is in hot pursuit still of Jack Minter. These two guys have been fighting for a while there. And it looked like lap traffic was kind of, I think that was Sean in the Ferrari. There you go, Sean Phillips in the Ferrari. He's currently in P9 in bronze, ladies and gentlemen. Was very quickly trying to get out of the way, but Hollinger and Minter have been going at each other, the two Porsches, for the majority of this race, ladies and gentlemen. They both pit, albeit on different laps, I believe. Actually, Hollinger about 3 seconds quicker in the pit box, so we'll have to see how it works out with the fuel at the end of this race.
Yes, it has been an issue in previous rounds as fuel. You can obviously save fuel in the early stages and shorten your pit stop, but you need to be aware that the race might go a lap longer than you think. It is a timed race after all, and it depends on the pace of the leader. We saw it was Veldra who fell victim to it last round at Mexico when he was fighting for the lead with Joshua Wilford. So let's see if there's any further to say about it. Amrit Vestrala and Jamil Gummer, they are no strangers to each other at this point. Gummer having his fair share of problems in this race, but still up 6 positions. It's been a profitable day for him. But Amrit Vestrala up 12 positions. Great pace in that gold Mercedes. Joshua Wilford, meanwhile, has gotten a black flag, it appears, from the iRacing sim. I wonder if that's for incident limit.
Yeah, that definitely wouldn't surprise me there. But let's take a quick look. Again, these two drivers have been battling for the majority of the race, and it's been an absolutely fantastic battle, don't get me wrong. At times, Jack Minter, I think, was trying to get onto the back of that. But looking at the lap times, you can see certainly when there was a few different pit stops made, huge variations in the time, though. Gummer there, 21 seconds lost, 16 seconds lost, 29 seconds gained, so I'm guessing that's a pit and an out lap. But overall, it looks like Jamil Gummer maybe a little bit quicker than Vestrala today.
Yes, let's see what he can do. Gummer, his fastest lap, 128.8. Amrit Vestrala's fastest lap, a 128.6. But Gummer has he gained 1.1 seconds on Vestrala on the previous lap. And having a look at their lap times now, that's another 0.5 of a second that Jamil Gummer has made up here for the last position in the top 10 now. Wilford has toured through the pit lane. And his car is looking a bit substandard. The front bumper is crumpled in a little. So not exactly sure what caused the black flag to be assigned there to our championship leader, but this is going to be a huge points loss, as it appears it is the final lap of the race.
Yeah, certainly there is a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like there's another freeway battle going on, and this time Doug Sorrentino has come to play, ladies and gentlemen. So we now got 3 Porsches all going for a fight, and what's even better, it's in 3 different classes, as right now Jack Minter very much under attack from the number 76 here of Matt Hollinger.
It is not the final lap of the race, so we're going to be seeing a couple more laps of this fighting here. Just enough space being given to the inside there by Jack Minter. Sorrentino spins in the background, and that's going to be his incredible run up the field come to a very brief end, if not a slight pause. He will no longer be more than 20 places up from where he started, but the battle's going to continue here between Minter and Hollinger. Minter continuing to lead the bronze class by a very long way, but what does Matt Hollinger have to say about it? Almost finds some room to the inside there, but the door can open in that hairpin and remain open, but it'll rapidly move away from you because the outside line gets a great exit around here.
Well, I've got to say, Reese, I'm starting to like Sonoma. It is producing some absolutely fantastic racing, as indeed battles happening throughout. We got Minter versus Hollinger. We got Vestrala versus Gummer. And it looks like Gummer's going to go up on the inside. We've seen accidents here so far. But can these two drivers keep it together? And it looks like, well, they have kept it together, but not yet able to get past. It's Jamil Gummer on Amrit Vestrala.
White flag has flown for Hunter McCall. The final lap has officially begun up the front of the field, and that means that there's not much time left for these guys to sort themselves out. Ben Mielek has managed to catch himself up here to Cairo Ends. Let's see if there's any... Oh, that's very defensive indeed from Cairo, and he manages to hold on nicely to 5th place for the moment, but Ben Mielek will be aware that it is his final opportunity to try and find his way past. The lap here at Sonoma is so compact, there's so much you can do around it, but it is over in the blink of an eye when you are deep in concentration. It would appear that Jacob Freeman has suffered a couple of small network issues, but is holding on to 3rd place. Miguel Colon, we saw him spun around on lap 1 and all the way at the back of the field. He has found his way back up to 12th. It's been a monumental drive back through the field for the Mercedes driver. Yeah,
definitely not what Matt Hollinger was looking for, though. He's lost his playmate now as Jack Minter has gone, thank you very much, and is trying to absolutely snake away. Don't get me wrong, in theory, Miguel should absolutely mug these guys, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Obviously, Sonoma proving to be a difficult track to get by, but we're going to return to the battle here for P5 overall as Mielek is piling on the pressure.
Front, I think we should return to the front because Hunter McCall is presently crossing the line to win the race here. Hunter McCall, a sheer domination run here with Dalton Oxborough taking 2nd place. It was pretty lonely and uneventful race for our top 2, honestly. It's all happened behind them. Jacob Freeman takes 3rd place over Charles Ayres there, who wins in silver, and it looks like Cairo Ends has done enough here to hold off Ben Mielek, but he is wide there in the second part of the hairpin. It's not going to be enough for Mielek to really make a difference there. That is the battle for the top 5 run and done. Meanwhile, this fight for 11th, Miguel Colon still holding on to this one. Matt Hollinger is quite close behind. Let's see if there's any incidents that happen here in the final corner. An incredible run through the penultimate turn there, and he's going to go for the dive up the inside there. But Jack Minter sees him coming from a mile back. Oh, goodness, he goes incredibly wide there. Gives up a space. He's still going to win bronze by a long, long way. Matt Hollinger grabs 12th in the final corner with a huge dive.
I gotta admit, I was thinking of Bon Jovi, and it was now or never, and he made it happen, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if he's gonna live forever, but certainly that move will forever live on Pit Road Productions later. That was a terrible pun. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. It was a terrible pun. We'll go with that.
Let me save you. It'll live while we're alive.
That'll do. All right, a compromise.
Yep. Yes. Oh, man. And just like that, it would appear the majority of our drivers have crossed the line and the race has gone official. So that is going to be the end of things here at Sonoma Raceway. Still waiting on a couple of cars to jump into the pit lane, but That was incredibly eventful. Hunter McCall winning by 4 seconds over Dalton Oxborough. We barely gave the top two any airtime because they were just managing things nicely while everyone was tripping over each other behind them. Jacob Freeman rounds out your podium there. Ayres wins in silver with Cairo Ends rounding out the top 5. A very good result there for Cairo. Mielik and Fox are your silver podium with Michael Clark finishing 8th overall behind. Brian Zinn and Amrit Vestrala round out your top 10. Very impressive run from Vestrala, up 10 places.
Yeah, definitely. He had a really good race today, so fair play to him. Miguel Colon, he definitely got caught out earlier on, bless him, but he's there in P11 with Matt Hollinger in 12. Definitely had a good fight with the driver of the number 1 car. But number 325 car came first in Bronze Jenner of Jack Minter in the 325. He was 13th with Joshua Wilford, definitely not his best day. He was in P14 with Artis Velder in 15th, having a great battle there with Jamil Gummer in 16th. Doug Sorrentino almost had the hard charger. Artis Velder, he took that away from him this week, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, we're going to have to encourage some friendly rivalry there. As we have a look a little bit further back, let me see here. Cody Haggard took 18th with Quinn Manders in 19th, up 6 positions, and Michael Pacheco taking 20th.
Brent Souza and Kerry Corcoran just outside the top 20 there, and it appears the last cars to finish on the lead lap. Darwin Hansen is the first of our cars a lap down. He's joined by Matt Jones, Jason Hatcher, Reed Lincoln, Drew Martin, CJ Conklin, Kevin Rosario, and Andrew Garov to round out our top 30. And then moving on back to 31st, we saw the car of Philip Crane with Robert Bison just behind. This is right in the middle of guys that have had some big issues throughout the race. Hamrick and Pulte the same. Sean Phillips and Richard Pettit struggling home there, with Chris Crone, the gold class driver, not having a great race by gold standards, down a lap as well. 2 laps down for Jason Owens, 3 laps down for Joshua Travis, and Chris Scheusler also 3 laps down. Callan Christian was unable to make it 9 laps from the end, and Tyler Gramling out quite early on. Goodness gracious, a big field, a lot of drivers that may be mildly unhappy with how things have gone for them in the gauntlet of Sonoma. They'll be happy to put this track behind them and move to open, more green pastures. But for the moment, it is Celebration Central for Hunter McCall, who is the first driver that we are going to chat to. Welcome, Hunter. Ferrari has worked out quite nicely over the course of this race here at Sonoma. You looked pretty untroubled for the lead for the most part, but I'm sure the traffic would have played a part too.
Yeah, the traffic scared me so much. I almost got taken out by a guy rejoining one time. I was terrified somebody was gonna spin out or do something in front of me, but luckily, for the most part, everybody stayed out of the way. I got lucky.
GT3s are probably some of the fastest cars you can probably fit around this circuit and still have a reasonable race. It must have felt quite cramped out there.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a tight track as you're on the limit everywhere except for that last hairpin corner. That's about the only place where you're really not pushing the car super hard. But everywhere else you're pushing everywhere. So I don't know how I would have raced side by side here for a position if I had to. It would have been tough.
Well, regardless, it's another good haul of points, and with Wilford falling by the wayside, I believe incident limit black flag for him, you will fall into the lead of the championship coming into the next round. So coming into the mid-season, things are looking good.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to be consistent as I can be. I really like these tracks like this with all the elevation changes and the tight corners and stuff like that. But I'm just trying my best to be consistent, practice a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your win, Mr. McCall, and hopefully we'll be catching you again next round. Great drive.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. I'll see y'all later.
And we are joined by Charles Ayres next, who, okay, apparently they've both decided to jump back out. We'll try and sort our next interview very, very shortly, but for the moment, here we go. Looks like CJ Conklin, our league administrator, will join us. And, well, CJ, that was certainly eventful, wasn't it?
Oh, that was a blast. Very fast track that you don't use your throttle a lot of. I figured that out halfway through.
It was quite difficult in the midfield, likely. Do you think that this track is going to make an appearance in future seasons?
No.
Very short question, very short answer. That's exactly. Oh man,
No,
it was tough. It certainly was tough, but I think we still got some good racing out of it.
I had a blast. It was good. Another 0x for me. That means I was slow, but I didn't run into anybody. It didn't cause any accidents. First turn was a little scary, but I only saw one car off the side, but I can't wait to watch the replay.
Yeah, I can't wait to see people's reactions to the race to come here. Going to Road Atlanta for the next round should certainly be a little better than this. It's a bit more of an open circuit.
That's my favorite track. I should do pretty well.
Well, Zippy's certainly happy to hear that. That's on his approved track list as well. Well, thanks very much for joining us, CJ.
Thank you so much.
Good race, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Well, with that, Zippy, it appears it is time for us to call the show. It was certainly eventful. I mean, you only have to look at what's going on behind these overlays to see the kind of race that most of these drivers had here at Sonoma.
Oh, it was an absolute belter of a race, and don't get me wrong, Sonoma not on the Princess Approved track list, but on the broadcast Princess Approved track list? Yeah, we're going to have to get 2 different grades. Maybe we'll have a Princess, and I don't know, I need to figure out what I'm going to name the other one, ladies and gentlemen. We got to try and get the Princess Approved track list being a term in the household, I guess, at this point, ladies and gentlemen. But Road Atlanta, my favorite track. I may even have to see if I can find a way to sneak out on track. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. I have to leave it with me. But for now, Reese, do the honors, sir.
Butler approved track list ?
Oh,
that
nice.
Might be a term we can use, but let's close off the show from here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here. Whether you've watched us live or you're watching the broadcast replay, we hope that you enjoyed the show. It was certainly an eventful one here at Sonoma. Next week, of course, we will be going to Road Atlanta, so mark that date in your calendars and get ready for more great racing in the Podium 1 GT3 Fixed Series, sponsored by RAFA Racing Club. Huge thanks to all the other sponsors we thanked at the top of the show, as well as CJ and the crew for putting this league together and bringing us on to broadcast here on Pit Road Productions. I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me. We'll see you next time.